So we're going. We're recording.
You want to talk about coffee first?
Do you want to talk about coffee
I
first?
think so, because that way we can drink.
All right. Salud.
Cheers. Sorry for the slurping sound.
Little afternoon cafe to get the party started.
It's been an adjustment here. We've had to go through quite a few different brands of coffee to find something that we both like and both appreciate.
Cafe Lohana in Cuenca. Man, we miss you.
That scratched the itch.
Yeah.
But now we have a certain mix that we get of a local Don Victor roast with sugar and Vilca Roma. 50-50. So we thought we'd come back and give you a little update. It's been 2 years plus. 2 years and 2 months, 3 months.
We've been a little radio silent, so we thought we'd check in and...
We've been busy. We have to work. We're not like on solid vacation time like some people, so...
We're jealous of you, Malacatos. We wish we were you sometimes, but
we
really,
pretended we were you.
it was good.
Yeah, it was good while it lasted. But anyway, we want to come at you with our thoughts and realizations after this amount of time here living in Ecuador as expats from North America.
And above all, we really want to say how grateful we are to get to live here. Like, all things considered, this has been an amazing experience. And I'm just super grateful to get to participate in it.
And Ecuador is a great country, you know, just like every place, it's got its challenges, but for the most part, it's a pretty easy place to live if you can, you know, put up with some stuff, which we'll get into.
But we're not putting up with near as much as you are in the States.
Sorry.
Don't get it too twisted. So you may be wondering, is the honeymoon over?
Wah, wah, wah. Not for me.
Really?
Yeah. It's not over. It's different. You know, the rose-colored glasses have been taken off, and it's more of it's kind of like a acceptance or surrendering to the reality of living here and what comes with that, but still very, very grateful, like you said, and very happy to have made the choice to move here for sure. Would not go back. What about you?
Yeah, the thought of going back is, that's a for me, for sure. I would say the honeymoon's over, though. I mean, we've been here over 2 years. Like, this is no longer, like we said, vacation. This is real life. And real life is always going to have challenges and issues and things to look at. And doesn't mean I would change anything or, you know, it's just it's more a feeling of being settled.
Can I add to that?
I think, yeah, absolutely.
I think it's different, too, because it feels like now we're actually making the life like we want it to have or we want it to be. Whereas before, the life that we had in the U.S. was probably more out of necessity, you know, and it's not like it's 100% one way or the other, but there does seem to be like there's more fluidity here to that experience because of, you know, it's more cost effective to live here. So it does give you freedom to be able to try different things, experiment with different things, and it gives you a little more grace, I think. That's what I get out of it, at least.
Absolutely. So what would you say is the difference between like your expectation of this experience and the reality of it?
I definitely expected to have more hair at this point in my experience here. I thought there would be some kind of magic living in Ecuador that would regrow my hair. And unfortunately, it's just traveled down to my back. So other than that, my biggest expectation was just to live a completely different life than what I was living in the U.S. and to not die young because of heart attack. That's about the majority of it, though.
That works great for me, too. Because he came home one time in the States and he said, if I keep doing this, I'm going to die. And I was like, well, we got to do something else then, because that doesn't work into my 5-year plan. For me, I would say that the first year and a half or, you know, let me go back. Like, I was calling it in for a lot of the time in the States, like just feeling like I needed space to have a deeper, bigger transformation and not feeling like that was accessible there. And even the same thing in Cuenca, like everything was just kind of congested and frenetic. And don't get me wrong, Cuenca's an amazing place. It's just not like a deconditioning, deep healing from your life kind of place. So things really started to open up for me once we moved down here. And we do have space and breathing room and quiet. And I mean, I had the full body experience of gratitude for the first time in my life a few months ago, where you're not like, you know, you're supposed to be grateful or you should be grateful, but like this thank you rose up from deep inside me. And I was like, oh, that's what people talk about when they talk about gratitude. So that experience has been really cool. I don't think I had, you know, necessarily expectation that it would be easy or that there wouldn't be challenges. So that I think we did a good job of managing those sorts of expectations.
So I guess my expectation, to define it a little better, would be a health, you know, just to gain a better health, because I didn't feel like I was in the best health because of stress and my lifestyle and work conditions. I mean, it was all good things by American standards, but it was not doing good things to my body. And the lifestyle here, I definitely feel healthier and happier.
The Valley of Longevity, baby.
Yeah.
You know, I just never know what's going to come out of his mouth, and I've learned that
That's
it's
for
just
you,
not
Mrs.
mine to
Chu.
worry about.
All right, we'll get back on track.
Cuenca versus Malacatos. And we can kind of talk about Vilcabamba a little bit, but we don't live there, so we're still kind of outsiders.
Yeah, we're definitely outsiders for Vilcabamba standards. Cuenca is a great place to live, especially if you like apartments and if you're okay with city energy. It's a great place to live. It's a beautiful city for Ecuador, as far as we've seen and what I've known of Latin America.
With culture and arts and lots of things to do.
Vibrant expat community.
Yeah, once you
sure.
land in Cuenca, like as soon as you meet one expat, you're going to meet 50 others, and you're going to have this kind of instant community. And that hasn't happened for us down here, but at the same point, we've been really insular. We've been at home. This is where we work. We don't go out a lot. So we haven't made the kind of community here that we did there. Now, Chad and Linda, if you're watching, we love you guys, and we're very grateful to have a couple of friends, for sure. In terms of housing, like you definitely get a lot more for your money in Cuenca.
In an apartment.
In an apartment, or even
or a house, but apartments are where it's at in Cuenca.
Like, it seems like people really want top dollar for houses down here. And like when they say they're furnished, that like, it doesn't include closets, it doesn't include kitchen cabinets. It's like those are all things you're kind of expected to bring to the table. And we'll do that for $500 or $600, but we're not going to do that for $8,000, $9,000, $1,000. Like for $800, we're of the thought that everything you need should be included, but we'll see, because we're likely going to have to move at some point, as we've heard the owner of the house is more motivated to sell. So we're that's on our radar right now for sure.
For me, because I have very high standards for houses, so.
That was one of my biggest concerns about us moving down here, him coming from like the perfectionism of custom home building in Knoxville to coming down here where it's like, it's good enough. It fits, it works, just like.
It has a roof.
It has a bathroom, a bed, and
Yeah.
a sink and a stove. What more do you need?
Yep.
So that managing expectations there, like specifically regarding housing, has been a little trickier. But, knock on wood, somehow things always work out, and we'll find something that works for us after here.
Yeah, something will work out.
Vilcabamba is kind of an interesting community. It seems like if you are, if you're a young couple with kids, that community seems to be like super thriving. And then there are a lot of much older people here. There's not a lot of people here our age. And it seems like if you're not working online and you're in your, late 40s through your 50s, this could be a challenging place to stay long term.
Especially if you're single.
And if you're single, yeah, probably even harder.
Yeah.
But the climate here, the land, I mean, it's to think about being in anywhere where that's 95 degrees in the States right now, or
Yeah.
that
It is
just
beautiful
seems
here. The traffic's always really easy here. There hasn't been any issues with traffic. It's easy to get around. One thing is, though, because we live in Malacatos and we are out in Malacatos, if we did not have a motorcycle, it would be way more challenging here. So like in Cuenca, there is abundance of public transportation. Once you get further out into these kind of areas or further south, however you want to look at it, you have to be more self-sufficient, for sure.
right. Yeah, for us to, like, we would have to taxi in town to catch the bus, and then it just makes it easier, and I think you're having a really fun time.
It's way more fun to drive a motorcycle here than I would want to be doing in Cuenca, for sure.
Yeah, like
Cuenca would be way too scary for me to be riding a motorcycle. Hats off to you guys that do, but for me, I'm happier here.
it's a great place to find your footing and
Yeah, find your
that
groove,
kind of thing.
get comfortable.
Right. So we're definitely having fun doing that. In terms of like integrating into a community, we kind of touched on that, I guess, a little bit, but yeah, we have not been successful in that. Our Spanish has definitely improved. You know, we're beyond transactional to we can hold a pretty decent conversation and at the very least track along, even if we can't make sense of the words coming out of our mouths.
Right.
But we do have friends in Vilca that are fluent, and from their perspective, it's still challenging. Like there is a bit of a divide between the locals and the expats there.
Yeah, so one way to say it is too, like, we would have had expectations to have Ecuadorian friends.
Yeah,
And
for
that
sure.
just has not been a reality for us yet. We know people that is a reality, but the majority of people that we talk to that have been here, well, but they're all few years, you know, not like
Yeah.
10-year plus kind of people. But that's been similar, that Ecuadorians have not been like close friends yet.
And whether that's like just differences in lifestyle or Ecuadorians are working more, and I mean, they already have their own life, so they're not necessarily like concerned with making expat friends.
Right.
So it's nice
Right.
to say, yeah, we want to get down there and integrate and have Ecuadorian friends, but if there's not an opening there, that makes it a little challenging. And we're not by no means like judging the situation. It's just the reality of what our experience has
Right.
been and what we have been told by others.
And I think, too, it could be a deeper sense of that decision to be nomadic or to leave your country of residence or country of birth. So we are uprooted. We don't have, you know, long roots here that go anywhere. So we are the new people, and, you know, we probably just don't fit in as easily. And so there's a camaraderie that you can have with other expats because of that, but I don't think it's translating to the Ecuadorians as far as I can see.
It seems like no matter what, there's a component of strangers in a strange land. And I think you see the same thing when people immigrate to the States. Like a lot of times cultures stay, you know, you stay with what's familiar, with people who speak your language, with people you share a cultural heritage with, even though you don't live in that country anymore. So that's just the reality of the way it goes. Would we have thought and liked it to be different? Probably. And if we do move closer into Vilcabamba or civilization in general, because we're definitely on the outskirts, and we become more willing, like, you know, we've been in this deconditioning place and we become more available to develop relationships and things like that, our experience will probably change, and
Yeah.
we'll report back on that.
But this kind of semi-isolation was intentional because we did want to create a very specific focus, both of us did, on the work that we've been doing. So we wanted to be isolated in a sense. So we were both kind of like in monk mode together, but
Yeah.
we still have our own separate space here.
Free of temptation, because we do like to go to lunch
Yeah.
and we do like to do all the
And
fun
I'm so
stuff.
weak.
It's been easier here to get into a groove for sure. You want to talk a little bit about the visa situation?
Sure. So we did the professional visa route, which is a great deal in my opinion still. Takes a little bit longer for us. We had some issues with the
school records and things like that.
Yeah, didn't go as quickly as we wanted, so we are hoping to get our permanent resident visa before November, at least. That would be like the latest it would happen. So.
Yeah, but we can start, like, we've already started gathering, you know, bank statements and documentation and things like that. So we are going for permanent, which means I think for the first 5 years you can be gone up to 6 months.
Yeah.
We're gonna want to get that bottle from him. You think the microphone's picking it up or no?
Stop chewing on the bottle.
You can't see him, but you know he's there. So with the visa situation, yeah, for the first 5 years, you can be gone up to 6 months. And then after that, you can be gone as long as you want. So we are feeling that we'll be here for a while. And we do want the opportunity to be able to travel again because we've been in this kind of visa purgatory with only having 10 days left to be out of the country on our temporary visas. And we do want to visit family and maybe, you know, actually learn how to ride a moto, and we'll rent motos in the States and, you know, cruise around the...
When we get to ride motos through the States and cruise around.
Yes, through the non-populated areas of the national state parks and such. So if you're wondering about Lucas, and we will add in clips of him in the video. He's like the best dog ever. We love him so much. I don't know that we'd be able to be in this situation and not have a dog, and he's just perfect.
Yeah, he's killer dog, man.
He's so sweet. That's all I got.
That's all you got?
Mm-hmm. One thing we do miss, and was nice to at least be around in Cuenca, is water. That's been an interesting situation down here because, one, there's no big rivers. There's no opportunity for water sports or lakes or anything like that in the south of Ecuador.
And we knew that.
We knew that. And, you know, we're in the dry season right now, so we're watching the browning of the valley, like every day. It's a little browner and browner. And
except for our yard, because we have sprinklers, kind of.
that get...
Sprinklers and hoses sometimes.
But with that, and being even outside of Malacatos, we have been put on like water restriction. And there are times when we don't have water at all out here, which we were not prepared for that at all. And there are times when there's just not enough water flow pressure to kick on the caliphone. So, you know, sometimes you're taking cold showers, and that's something to be aware of if you're going to live in kind of a deserty region. And if you're not in a major city, know that those like Vilcabamba loses electricity. They lose water. I'd say that happens to them more frequently than us. Like, we've never lost power or had no electricity out here.
Well, we did have trouble with a breaker that went out, but they fixed it. So it wasn't like a problem with the system. But we did have some of the water problem that we've had recently with lack of water has been because we're in a neighborhood, and the neighborhood has its own system. And maybe something's happened with the pump. Some of this stuff kind of gets lost in translation. So we don't know if it's the pump system entirely. We know that some of it has to do with where we get the water into our neighborhood. But it's hard to get like exact, concise answers regarding whatever is going on. Yep. That is a challenge here, I'd say, across the board. And that's kind of like a good point of Ecuador. Our friends came up with a great way to label this. They call it 47%. So there's a lot of things in Ecuador that by American standards, North American standards, are about 47%. So that might be the quality level, the finish level, the paint level, how good it works. You know, it's kind of just like fill in the blank. And it's something to know. It's not like a deal breaker by any means, but it's just different, you know? It goes along with our theoretically and the whole idea of managing expectations, right? You're going to get 47%. And then anytime it's over that, you're like, woo! Sweet. Sweet baby Jesus. Like when we went to... Sadhguru. Yeah, when we went there, we went to this restaurant, Shamwiko, and kind of like figured it might be a 47% experience, but it was a super, super great experience. I thought it was fantastic. It was great. And Sadhguru that's a cool town. It is a cool town. Very clean, very little graffiti, beautiful. Yeah, it's well run. It seems like the indigenous really have a hold of that area and they are in charge. Yeah.
Other than that, we really haven't done any kind of traveling at all.
We did have our first visitor.
Yeah, our daughter Julie came, repping her Boston University.
So we did have one visitor after almost 2 years, which is, I don't know what the statistic is typically, but
We know some people that have visitors down all the time. So,
yeah, nobody likes us that much apparently.
or is willing to be that adventurous
Family
because
doesn't like us. Ecuadorians don't like us. Lucas likes us.
now we will say like to come and visit us, you have to be really motivated because this is not an easy place to access.
True. Yeah, logistics of getting down here, traveling, it's a pita. It's definitely, you definitely have to figure a 2-day voyage just to get here. It's hard to get all the way. You can get to Cuenca in 1 day if you're lucky, but then you still got to get down here, and that's another half day at best.
Yeah, it's hard to get the flights to line up, and it is amazing how much bus transportation is available here, but like the terrain and the roads, like you're just not going to get anywhere fast. So even to travel within Ecuador is, even if you have a car, you look on the map and be like, oh, Quito to Cuenca, that's probably 3 hours. No, it's like 9 hours, 10
9 hours
hours.
of hell.
I don't think you're ever going 70 miles an hour
Not typically.
in this country.
You'd have to really gun it.
So that's just an acceptance piece. Like if you want to go somewhere, it's going to be a long trip to get there.
And the roads just don't stay in the mountains here. I mean, it's like the Andes are just completely devouring the roads. And I don't think the roads here will ever be fixed properly. And I don't mean properly, it could be a quality issue of how they were installed, but I think just the way the ground is moving and heaving, it just doesn't stand a chance, And even since we've been around coming down to Vilcabamba, so, less than 2 years or whatever, the couple times that we visited before we moved down here, there's more like bigger sections of road missing on the main road, the main highway to get from here to Cuenca. And I don't think somebody's going to come fix them. Maybe eventually they have some road crews that show up, but so far it's something else. While looking for houses around here, sorry, the roads made me think about it. Like where we live right now, it's all paved into our neighborhood, up to our house. It's all paved. That is an extreme abnormality here. Like most places, you're down a dirt road a pretty good distance off of a paved road. And it's, the roads can be quite rough here. It's something to consider. And to me, I would put that in with the 47% thing, 47% of the roads are going to be in good shape. The rest of them are going to kind of be close to that.
47 might be high on the road situation. I don't know if like the spirit of the land just doesn't want roads on it or what, but when the rainy season comes and landslides happen and, earthquakes happen here, and they don't have to be like major events to cause huge problems when it comes to stuff like that.
Right.
So Ecuador would be a great place for flying cars.
Yes. Yes.
That would be amazing. We have heard that the roads in the Oriente and the Amazon are a little better. We haven't been there yet, but we're finally feeling like a response, an invitation to go. So we'd like to check out like Tena, Puyo. Definitely go to Baños. I can't believe we've been here 2 years and we haven't gone to Baños.
Archidona.
So yeah, that's definitely on the short list. The coast, we're still like,
Meh.
after being in the Galapagos, it's like,
Yeah.
We'll go eventually, though. I want to do the whale watching in Puerto Lopez, and
I'm pretty sure I'm
have
not
that
a
experience.
Ecuadorian beach kind of guy.
We just don't really like to be that hot.
But everybody that loves it, good for you.
Yeah.
Everybody can do their thing.
And I would like to try like coastal ceviche and some of the different foods that are available on the coast.
If there's anything else you guys want to know about or have any questions, you can ask in the comments below. Maybe we'll answer them. There's or we can direct you to other people. We can direct you to other people that like to answer questions.
Yeah, just a gentle reminder that, the biggest impetus for us doing this was to let friends and family know what was going on. And if we're curious about the Ecuadorian experience, to share some of ours. But yeah, if you want to know specifically about our experience, those questions we'll probably answer. If you want to ask like visa questions or process questions, There are
Yeah.
other channels in Ecuador that do a great job of that.
Or get a real legal expert to answer your questions. You know, don't trust Facebook and those other types of avenues even. But
Okay, so no, if you do a Wilka ceremony down here, plant medicine. Because, man, the stuff I get myself into, I just show up not like understanding how these things work, but they're going to shoot it up your nose, like to the back of your brain, and they're going to do it on both sides, and it hurts really, really badly. So I'll just throw that out.
PSA.
Be prepared for some serious pain, like a cannon's going off in your head. I won't do that one again.
Yeah.
Probably. You're still hanging in there with us, even though we like rarely post anything.
Thanks, subscribers.
You're our
Whoop, whoop.
favorites.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Flynns on the fly out. Are we out?
We're out.
We're out.
We'll get you some footage of Lucas.
Yeah. The people want to be entertained.
It's another beautiful day here. That's kind of like our joke in the morning because every day is pretty much the same. And it's like, oh, another beautiful day. Lucas! Whoop. Hi, Lucas!